Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
You know, it's very exciting. You know, it's been a while since we had you on the show, and you got a brand new album that came out this September, Lone Rider, and you've really got some different tracks on here. I like the new sounds.
Thank you. My career started in a unconventional way with television specials that wound up going nationwide on PBS. And then we were touring out of those specials. So my career kind of was built on just being a live act, really.
Right.
I never actually even recorded any music until about 2 years after touring nationwide.
Yeah.
So the pandemic allowed us to record my debut album because when all of our world touring got canceled, we said, you know what, let's make use of this time. Let's make this mean something. And we've been holding on to it, and I was so excited to finally release it.
Well, you know, and you're one of those people too, and you and I always stay in touch, and I always follow you on social media and your music and touring. But, you know, you stayed very busy, you know, doing a lot of cool things, you know, like with American Music Abroad and with your videos that you were doing from your home, even during, you know, the pandemic. You were still doing a lot of content.
I was busier than ever, which was the weirdest thing I've ever experienced. I would say I think it's like my fighting New York Italian spirit that was like, I'm not going to let anything beat me. I'm a fighter.
Right.
Through and through. And I also find great joy in being creative and thinking outside of the box. And I took that really to heart during this last, few years. And yeah, it's been amazing too. I do believe that life always leads you where you're meant to go. And I had also, as difficult as a time as it was, so many wonderful, amazing blessings that also came. I adopted a wonderful rescue dog who's just my heart and soul. She just came on tour with us. So she is now a road dog. And as you mentioned, the American Music Abroad thing is wonderful. I now teach global music academies to people of all ages in all different countries. It's teaching them how to have a successful independent artist career. So it's very rewarding.
Well, you know, and I love it also with your rescue dog, the photo shoots and everything with your puppy. It's a lot of fun. And I know that's now, obviously you've been involved with a number of charities over the years, including, for veterans and everything like that. And but now involved with animals as well.
I'm a huge animal lover. I've always been. I spent every weekend growing up volunteering in animal shelters, walking the dogs. And I am as big of an animal lover as I am. I haven't had a pet in over 6 years because of the travel schedule. It's so hard. And when the world tour was getting canceled, only the first month or 3 weeks or so was canceled. So I saw this terrible story online of a dog that had both legs cut off, severed, and she was left in a house to die in Texas with also a back injury. So she's also incontinent. And they needed a medical foster for her because she was too injured to go to any shelter. So I said to my husband, I'm like, we're home. We have to take this. And I'm a big believer in gut feelings. I said, we have to take this dog. Mm-hmm. He thought I was nuts. And knowing how much I love animals, he said, you're never giving this dog away. And I hate to say that he was right, but, I said, we're supposed to leave for 4 months in 15 different countries. I said, even if my heart is shattered in 5 million pieces, I'll be forced to give her away. We can't keep her. So let's just do this good deed. And then when that all got canceled for 2 years, I'm like, he was right. I'm not giving this dog away. And now she's my sidekick, did every meet and greet with me on the road. She was signing autographs, we kept calling it. And we do work with a number of wonderful animal charities. My favorite being Joey's Paw. They put dogs in prosthetic legs in wheelchairs.
Wow.
Which is how we met them. And we did a benefit concert for them last year. And we put 59 dogs in wheelchairs in 1 month alone. So it was
how incredible is that? Well, I wanted to bring up to you, and you touched on it. You've really created quite the international following, doing the world tours and everything, and certainly, on social media. And in 2020, you were one of the 40 top streamers. 2021, one of the top 25. And so your international base is probably as big or bigger than in the United States, right?
It's an interesting thing, but a wonderful thing. I love to travel. My international touring started back in 2016. We had a cold email from a festival in France that said, "We love you in France, please come play." I had never even been overseas before, but again, I followed that gut feeling and was like, let's try it. And I wound up headlining a festival, 13,000 people, no idea they knew who I was, that they liked country music. And out of that one show, there were all buyers there from other festivals, and it turned into 2 months plus every year overseas since then. And they just appreciate live music so much. And music truly is a universal language that you can connect with people no matter where they're from, no matter what they speak, through lyrics and music. And it's just an incredible thing to be a part of.
Well, and also, Jessica, you're so well known for your live performances. And also, you've got the family band. You've got your husband in the band, you've got your dad on bass, you got your mom on backup vocals, you've got your dog coming along as the roadie and mascot now. It's like the whole family comes with you. So it's really, you're leaving home, but you're kind of taking home with you.
It doesn't feel like we're away from home. Honestly, I think that's why I could travel for months and months at a time. It doesn't feel like I'm far away. And the rest of the band, they've been with me 10 years now. So
incredible.
We have something very special. We're all extremely close. We spend every night on the road together. We have dinner together and we play games at night. And it's a very special and unique thing that we all have.
Well, I think it permeates the music. And I wanted to bring up also, you had another incredible recent deal going to Memphis, being involved with a new movie that's out.
That, honestly, I have to say, was one of the coolest things of my lifetime to be a part of. In the middle of my recent USA tour, Warner Brothers reached out and wanted to fly me to Memphis to film social media content for the new Elvis movie. And I had to keep this a secret for like 3 weeks, and I was dying inside. I'm a huge Elvis fan. He was such a pioneer in music in so many ways, being yourself, being different, not trying to fit into this box. I mean, truly inspirational to me as an artist growing up. Yeah. And I have to tell you, my content will come out soon, as well as a vlog that I did that I'll be putting on YouTube. But the access that we basically had free run of Graceland after hours, and wow, all the barricades down. It was a beyond words type of experience. And I took my dad, who's a big Elvis fan, so he got to come on the trip with me, and it really was incredible. I got to sing That's All Right Mama at Sun Studios in the exact spot that he sang it in. So it was a trip of a lifetime as a musician and a fan. And
it's such an incredible movie too. I watched it with my daughter, and I'm obviously going to watch it again. I think they did such a great job going a bit deeper and just giving a different perspective with this Elvis movie.
Me too. I was blown away. My mind is always racing. I'm one of those people that constantly needs to be productive. So when I saw almost a 3-hour movie, I was like, oh boy. And I mean, it went by like that, because it was just so engaging, and you knew things about him you never knew. And the way they mixed the music together, and the new and the old, in such a unique way, I found it so interesting. I loved every second of it.
I did too. Well, and I got to bring this up, speaking of loving every second of it, with your new album, Lone Rider, obviously it's out now. I'm sure you're going to have singles and videos coming out. I've got to ask you, because, you come to Nashville on a frequent basis also, and you've been working with songwriters here too. Did some of those songs end up on this new album?
Yeah, one of them called Better Than That, which is actually a special tune to me, because it was my very first song I ever wrote in Nashville. Wow. I signed a publishing deal in, I think it was 2016. And I always wrote totally solo. And I was so nervous to co-write, because it was so foreign to me. So I signed this big deal, and my first co-write is I have to go right off the plane and write to this amazing, prolific writer's house with all these number ones, wrote Darius Rucker's number ones, all these things. I remember I was shaking with my guitar keys, like walking up to his door. And Better Than That, which is on the album, was that song that we wrote that day. Yeah. And his name is Clay Mills. He is a wonderful human being on top of being a wonderful songwriter. And so I've always wanted to record that song, and we just never have. So that's
incredible song. There's so many great songs on here too. And I'm sure you're going to have, like I said, videos and everything else. I've got to ask you, with 3 PBS specials, national specials under your belt, and you got the DVD that came out in 2019 also. I mean, what are your plans? I mean, going into, 2022, 2023, what are you thinking, Jessica?
Well, we're going to be touring again in support of the record. We just did the whole Midwest and West, and we'd like to do the South. All of our European and world tour dates are being shifted to next summer. So we're planning that in addition to all the music stuff that we're going to be doing. I do a huge Christmas concert for Toys for Tots every year in New York that we're taking on the road for the very first time. So a lot of stuff is going. I'm just trying to keep my head above the water while I'm planning it all, but very excited.
I want to make sure for our viewers, with the new album out, Lone Rider, and I know you're going to be doing so much more with that, obviously with the tour, with the Christmas show, with everything else you've got going, for your website and for your social media, which you do an incredible job on, where do our viewers need to go?
My website is jessicalynmusic.org, and you can find me on every social media platform at Jessica Lynn Music.
You are a busy lady, and congratulations on the great new album. I love it. So many great tracks, and I think you did a great job on the song selection because it really shows different facets of your musical style, from the ballads to more rockin'. I can certainly hear some of these songs lending themselves to you performing live on stage.
Thank you so much. It was a record that was quite genreless, I would have to say. Mm-hmm. I mean, country was definitely the foundation, but like you said, a lot of rock, blues sounds, pop sounds mixed with Motown inspired harmonies. And as a New Yorker, I mean, I grew up not just on traditional country music. I grew up listening to the Temptations and the Beach Boys, and along with Glenn Campbell and Loretta Lynn and Richard Marx and AC/DC. And that's who I am. So I wanted that to really be fully embodied in this record.
Just incredible. Well, I know our viewers are going to want to add Lone Rider to their playlist or get their own copy, maybe a signed copy. Come see you live. You're going to have new Elvis content out. You've also got the Christmas tour coming up. Jessica Lynn, thank you so much for joining the Rockin' Review.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a blast.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.